top 8 at our Season 1 Invitational in Charlotte. Spano in the Legacy portion, because the top 8 of Charlotte was Legacy. He was playing the old Mud deck, and then Boettcher was playing Red-White Painter. So, and these guys
we got some Artifact fans.
They actually played against each other.
Okay.
And Spano won.
Yes.
In the quarters of the Season 1 Invitational, Spano did get the job done.
And was it like Spano thought that he had a bad matchup, or Jared thought he had a bad matchup? I remember there was something along those lines.
I think Spano figured out that he couldn't lose because, like, the painter deck, excuse me, is trying to mill you.
Yeah.
And he had a
Blight
Steal.
Steal? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He had, like, the way that he could win is he had a Blight Steal plus Trading Post, so he could always have it in his deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he could never get milled. That's what I think he figured out, like, during the match, and he's like, oh, yeah, I can't lose.
Oh, okay.
As long as I don't make, like, some significant hiccup.
Yeah.
So, what you guys can't see is Tom Ross is walking by fanning his face. Fanning his face. I'm telling you, it's the coat.
It is the coat.
It's the coat that did it.
He means business now. He was just messing around before.
Yeah,
that's how he got his loss.
He's heating up right now. Boettcher's only loss, by the way, was to Tom Ross this weekend. So he's still having a great tournament and a great year. And he's up a game right now over Spano. Spano playing Rebel Red, which is what Jared did lose to. Of course, that's what Tom's playing. So, but you do see Jared's up a game. Now, when we talked about Boettcher, not only in Syracuse 2 weeks ago, but this weekend as well, still no hate in the board. No Cures, no Drowning Sorrows, none of that stuff. He's got 3 Doom Blades. That's pretty much it.
I'm sure he would have liked some against Tom Ross.
He probably wants something against Gregg, even though he lost game 1.
Yeah.
I mean, this game I imagine is going to be pretty tough, and it looks like, I thought maybe he was mulliganing, but it looks like both players are just shuffling up here, so.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it's nice to have, right? But, I mean, Jared has almost certainly beaten this deck numerous times, right? He beat it in the finals of an Open. He lost to Tom Ross, but everyone does, you know?
Yeah, the first of many.
He's up a game now. I mean, he's got to be feeling like he doesn't need the hate because he's not playing it, you know? You can't just assume that people aren't going to play this deck that keeps winning.
I mean, maybe his plan is just to fade.
Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like that's a tough deck to fade now because it just keeps winning. But he is up a game right now, so who knows? We'll see what Spano can put together.
Maybe his matchup against anyone not named Tom Ross is very good.
Sure. Yeah, Spano shrugged his shoulders. He's going to keep. It looks like his hand's pretty good.
Looks like they're both on 6.
Yeah, there's a Rakdos Cackler. Yeah, it doesn't. Jared's hand does not look very good.
Yeah, I think that definitely favors the red deck. I mean, especially since you saw Tom Ross go to 5 and pretty easily dismantle Jared, so.
It's a Thoughtseize. There's a Burning Emissary. There is a Mutavault, a Legion Loyalist, and I believe a Firefish Striker is the last card.
Yep.
So we'll see what Boettcher does want to take here. And he will take the Emissary.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous if you let that Emissary stay there, and then next turn, if he draws a mountain, he gets to play 2 things. You just fall too far behind. Ooh, another Burning Tree.
Had it. Yeah, I think Striker's probably the best card to play this turn. Attack for 2, pass the turn back. Just curve on out. Desecration Demon, the draw. There's an Urborg. Pass it back over to Spano. Spano's going to draw a card. It's a mountain, and that's timely.
Probably the best draw since he gets to play out 2 creatures and activate Mutavault.
Yep. Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Boettcher gets to kill something, sure, but this is how Spano and Rebel Red wants the games to go literally every time.
Right.
All my stuff's on the table by turn 3. There's no Mutilate in your deck, and you personally don't have Drown in Sorrow.
Yeah.
So good luck catching up.
Yeah, I mean, Gregg doesn't know that, but he's kind of forced into this spot, right, where he can't, like, try and play around it and try and nickel and dime Jared out. That's probably just not going to work. Yeah. Eventually, something like Desecration Demon is going to come down, stabilize the board, and it's like you Drown in Sorrow yourself.
Mutavault's going to go bye-bye. And you said that Gregg doesn't know that, but again, there's a chance that Gregg does know that. Because, again, Jared did win 2 weeks ago.
Sure, that is true.
There's a Temple of Deceit. There's a cost to those temples. It comes into play tapped.
Yeah.
Scrying is powerful, but imagine if that land came into play. I guess if it came into play on tapped, I was going to say imagine if we played a Nightveil Spectre, but there's a Firefish Striker.
There's a Firefish Striker. I do like what Jared's doing where he's probably going to Doomblade the Firefish Striker this turn. And, you know, there's always the hope that, like, the Rebel Red deck does not draw something that can increase their board. You know, it's like, please just draw a mountain. You know, you have 16 more of those in your deck, please.
I mean, you are in the situation now if you're Boettcher where you're just hoping that he bricks for a couple turns.
Yeah, and then you just get to stabilize behind Nightveil and Desecration Demon.
I mean, it's not a great situation to be in, but I think that's all that he can hope for. Yep, so Spano's just going to untap, draw his card in, serve in here yet again. This will be a Doomblade. The Striker's going to bite the dust, so 5 damage will come across. Boettcher goes down to 6. Let's see if Spano drew a spell. Nope, that could be brick number 1.
Could be. Could also be a Lightning Strike, Robo-Belt Maka, any number of things that make Jared's life miserable.
If you're rooting for Boettcher, you're hoping for brick number 1. That's for sure. There is a Nightfell Spectre to try to stabilize.
I'm just rooting for some good, clean magic.
Spano draws a card. Looks like there might be 2 spells over there.
Yeah, Legion Loyalist, for sure.
There's that.
Rabble Master might be the other one.
Okay. That's one of the bricks. Kind of.
Sort of. But it is still there as soon as he does draw a 3rd land.
So Spectre's going to eat the Cackler. 4 damage is going to come across. Excuse me. Boettcher's going to go down to 2. Boettcher draws a card. Passes the turn back. Spano will draw. Not a 3rd land. It's a Fire Drinker Satyr. There's nothing that says he has to attack this turn.
No, he doesn't have to, but...
Gonna block here. Doomblade there. Take 1, go to 1. No 4th land. Picked up another Desecration Demon, did Boettcher. There's a Sign of Blood.
That resolves.
Yep. We're going to move on to a 3rd one here. So Gregg Spano able to get the job done. Go low to the ground. That's what you do.
Every time, just go under him. Like you saw that Jared had Desecration Demon. On the last turn, he drew a 2nd Demon. Also had a Gray Merchant. If given enough time, he very easily would have stabilized that game. But Gregg didn't give him the time.
Now the beatdowns. A lot of Rebel Red here this weekend. There's a lot.
It certainly seems that way. I mean, we're watching a lot of notable players on camera, which makes sense, and we see a lot of them playing the deck. And it's kind of interesting. You don't see a lot of high-level players like pick up these red decks. You know, Tom Ross is definitely the one that is known for it, Patrick Sullivan. But when you see Todd Anderson playing a red deck, you know, that probably means the deck is really good.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the deck is really good.
I do too.
I really do.
I mean, that's why you made a Goblin token, right?
Yeah, because I knew they were going to put Rabble Master.
Yeah, of course.
So that's exactly why I chose that. Very quickly, we will talk about, let's see. There was something I want to talk about. I can't remember what it is now. Because I'm not smart. I remember. That's why I get paid. States. There it is, States. I had a brief lapse, a memory lapse. Look at me.
I'm sure most people don't even know what that card is or know that it is a card. So they're like, is he making a joke or is he just going crazy? I don't know which.
I don't think that card's ever going to be reprinted either, which is kind of too bad. I like that card.
That card was not fun.
No, not close to fun. October 11th and 12th is when we will have our Autumn State Championship. StarCityGames.com/states is where you can find more information about this. You do see the artwork on the screen. That'll be the playmat for our top 8 competitors. There'll be a black and white version for our winner along with a medal. And who doesn't want a medal? Are you kidding me? You want a medal.
I do.
I know you do. Now, you said 1-time state champion, right?
Yeah, 1.
Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Okay. When?
Affinity. I was the bad guy.
Like when Affinity was busted Affinity?
Yeah.
Or like Broodstar Affinity?
No, I almost played Broodstar Affinity on States the year before, but
Okay.
I got like my only flat tire in my history on the way to States. I probably wouldn't have won because I think my deck sucked, but I tried to play it.
My favorite is like, no one will remember Broodstar Affinity was a thing. And like that version of the deck was like pretty good. Like
It was fair, it was cool.
Yeah, it had counter spells and like Broodstar was like a cool card. It was like, you know, like a 2-mana 8/8, but you had to like work for it a little bit.
Yeah, I had Assert Authority, Chrome Mox, Future Sight. I had a bunch of crazy stuff in my
You had
deck.
Future Sight?
Oh yeah,
You were going deep.
I was.
Maybe a little too deep.
Dude,
Not
what if
sure.
you get like 4 Frogmites in a row and then 4 Mirror Enforcers, and then that's game.
Nice draw, man.
Thanks.
That's what
Thanks.
happens. The bet. I sincerely wonder right now how many people actually know what Broodstar is. That's how old I feel.
Yeah, probably not a lot.
Like
Or-
if I say Arcbound Ravager, everyone's like, yeah, that card's busted.
yeah.
If I say Broodstar, which was like the best card in the deck,
What about Assert Authority?
that one I don't think. I think less people know that one than Broodstar.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other kind.
There it is.
Look at that thing. Creature type beast. You better believe it.
So you can second your Ravenous Belloth, of course.
Get that for life. Power toughness, each equals number of artifacts you control. Spoiler alert, you had a lot. It was a pretty good win condition. but then they just printed busted cards, and that one became obsolete pretty quick.
Yeah.
Gregg Spano, game number 3 on the draw with a mountain into a Fire Drink Crusader. Boettcher started with a temple. There's a swamp, past the turn back. You have to imagine this will be one of those removal spells that he has.
Yeah.
I know he's shrugging his shoulders like he doesn't have anything, but who are we kidding? No way. What? Does that have a removal spell on 2? Okay, well, he better have a Nightfall Spectre on 3. What's this? Pack? What? Ooh. All right, now I'm wondering what he kept. I'm very surprised he didn't have a removal spell on 3. There's a Lightning Strike to get that out of the way. Now here's more attacking. And with an Underworld Connections in hand too, I am truly surprised at the opening turns of the game for Jared.
Well, he does have 2 Gray Merchants.
Okay.
So to have connections in his deck, especially on the play, is not that surprising. Because, I mean, we've talked about this, right? He doesn't have a lot to side in.
That's true. His options are very limited.
Yeah.
This turn, he might just deploy connections just to have the devotion there.
Yeah.
Don't know if he needs to. Looks like he's going to leave up Hero's Downfall. Spano's going to play another land. He's got 4 now. So there's Hero's Downfall there. I actually think Gregg has 3 more lands in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly brutal for the red deck.
Yeah, now it's going to be Desecration Demon to start. You can see a Stoke the Flames over there. Spano's going to draw a card. It's another copy of Fire Drink Crusader. So he will deploy that. Yeah, this is not going the way that Gregg wants it to at all. And I feel like, you know, this is one of the ways that Jared can win this matchup.
Yeah.
Is if the opponent floods out.
But 21 lands, 3 of them are Mutavaults. Not very likely that that's going to happen.
Boettcher plays the Temple of the City. He's deciding how he wants to scry here. See what else he wants to do this turn. I think he's got a Nightfall Spectre in his hand as well, if he really wants to work towards devotion, and he does.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. I mean, he's not really under any pressure.
Relatively safe, and could, I mean, I could certainly see him just saying, okay, I have no interest in attacking with a demon. I'm just going to play super defensive until I resolve a Gray Merchant. And once I resolve the first one, chances are you can't come back from that, and the second one cements the game.
Yep.
Because what Gregg's doing is, you know, fair at this point. Who cares about a Rakdos Cackler on turn 6?
Yeah.
So there's no reason to really open yourself up to any, like, losing to some strange combination of cards. So I actually like the no attack with the demon there a lot that turn. That said, I like an attack this turn.
Yeah. I thought I saw 2 Gray Merchants. Maybe it was only 1. And if that's the case, I definitely understand him wanting to make this Gray Merchant count. Waiting is kind of dangerous because it gives Gregg the chance to potentially draw a Skullcrack. I mean, like I said earlier, you know, most people don't favor Skullcrack in this matchup out of the red deck just because they don't feel like they have time. But just because you know that is like the consensus, the common theory, doesn't mean that they won't have it.
Yeah. Stoke the Flames in response to the Gray Merchant is going to take down the Nightfall Spectre. So the drain and gain won't be for 7. It'll only be for 4, which honestly against this version of red is probably enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, back up to 17 life, really under no pressure. You have a 2/4 blocker.
Yeah, there's an Ash Zealot. Everybody's going to come into the red zone now. Trigger the battalion from the Legion Loyalists. And Spano, all I can do is kind of shrug his shoulders and say, hey, this is what I've got.
Yeah.
So there will be a block here from Boettcher in just a moment with the Gray Merchant. It looks like it's going in front of the Legion Loyalists, but we will find out exactly where it is going. Going to be an activation here from Fire Drink Crusader to get another point of damage across. This looks like maybe 7's going to come through. There might be more than that if Gregg wants to activate the Satyr again. Again, it looks like the Gray Merchant eats the Ash Zealot, so that's fine too. But Jared is, I think, comfortably in the driver's seat now. And if he's able to keep beating red decks that aren't being piloted by Tom Ross, I wouldn't change anything either.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that is just it. Like I said, Tom Ross is the bad matchup.
Yep.
And if you were able to devote almost the rest of your sideboard to beating decks like the Mirror and Blue-White Control, like, by all means, you know? Those are the matchups that are certainly tough. They're, like, close to even.
Connections there from Boettcher, able to finally deploy that. Spano's going to draw a card. See if he's got anything to do this turn. Does he have the Harness by Force? I don't think
He does not. He has some Dyna charges in that slot. He has one main, one sideboard. Obviously doesn't do a whole lot right now.
I'm trying to think of cards that Gregg could steal it with.
Yeah. Yeah, but even then, like Jared has the Gray Merchant to potentially lock it down for a turn, so.
Couple pumps. We'll trade here. Spano will take some damage for the trade. Now Boettcher's kind of cleared everything up. So now Jared will draw a card. There goes the Cackler. Demon is doing its work. Mutavault there for Boettcher. You can see Spano at 5 life. Now he's basically in the Abyss hard lock as another mountain comes off his deck. He has to pass the turn back here.
Yeah,
Boettcher will draw and attack.
Even if something bad happens, Jared still has Devour Flesh for his own demon. Oh, and you see Gregg does have a Skullcrack, so.
Just not the right time for it.
Yeah.
Jared Boettcher, Rookie of the Year, Syracuse Open Series champion, does it again. Beats Gregg Spano, somehow gets by Rabble Red again with the Black Blue Devotion deck with no hate. He moves on to 5-1.